Silken Laumann is my guest. She is one of Canada's bravest and most beloved Olympians. She broke the lock on her family's secrets and revealed the human behind the heroic public figure in her memoir, Unsinkable. She is a life coach, a public speaker, and a cheerleader for a world without dieting. Well, we know diets don't work.
No, they don't work. And kids are starting younger and younger dieting and having unhealthy body images. I mean, there's an onslaught of images that girls live up to, girls and boys, but mostly girls. And when I think about the havoc that dieting has reaped on my life, that when I was anorexic, the amount of mental energy that consumed me about food and what I was going to eat and what I wasn't going to eat, and to not be dieting is like you regain your energy, you regain your creativity and your passion.
Yes.
So, World Without Dieting CA is really about shifting the paradigm and saying, what would the world look like if we weren't dieting, if we were just eating healthy, loving ourselves, looking in the mirror, saying positive things.
Of course.
Multigrains Cheerios is the sponsor of this. And you go on the website and you hear these mothers and daughters actually taking this oath, which I took, to not diet anymore.
Hand on the diet Bible?
Yeah, exactly.
Anti-diet Bible?
The anti-diet Bible. And you notice, since I've been involved in this campaign, I notice how often I think, oh yeah, no, bikini season's coming up, maybe like a couple pounds. It's such an automatic reflex to think, oh, I should go on a diet for a couple weeks.
Sure, and fit is the new thin. Let's hope. But not necessarily when you look in the mirror.
Yes.
Hello, male or female, but mostly female, I would think.
Yes.
Nothing is ever quite right.
An exercise that I engage in, and we did this before we got on set today, is looking in the mirror, and usually the first thought is something negative, like, oh my gosh, those laugh lines are getting pretty prominent.
Right.
Say 3 things, notice 3 things, say them out loud that you love about yourself.
Exactly. A, I'm adorable.
Yeah.
B, I'm so beautiful. C, I'm a cutie full of charm.
Yeah, or be specific. I love my hair today.
Yes, I love my hair today.
I love that color of lipstick.
I love that I'm alive today. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
Upright.
You can appreciate that one.
Well, I was reading an article a couple days ago, and Kate Upton, movie star, beautiful, drop dead, kind of Marilyn Monroe-ish, and she was worried she wouldn't get parts because she was too curvy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I know. We've gone a little silly. So back to your life story. I like that you picked this campaign. I think it's a brilliant campaign if we can get it across, but we're going to have to get all the magazines,
Well, it's a start, right? It's a start. It's starting the conversation.
Of course, but taking the oath, I like that.
Yeah.
And, I see some of the younger girls today who are bearing their midriffs and they're not perfectly formed.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting better, but I'm not sure.
I don't know if it is or not. I think statistically it's not. Half of girls are on some kind of diet. Half of girls think that they're overweight, and they're not. Statistically, they're not overweight. And, we obviously have a problem with obesity and inactivity in this country. It's something that I've been passionate about for years. But the flip side of that is girls that are way too obsessed about their bodies. Dieting not only doesn't work, it tends in the long run to get people to lose muscle and gain fat. So it's a really unhealthy attitude towards food and your body.
But the pressure from the parents sometimes?
Sometimes the pressure from the parents starting really young. All the hidden messages, like if you're pulling out your clothes as a mom and, making a face in the mirror when you see yourself, your kids pick up on that.
Of course.
My daughters pick up on it.
And if your mother's constantly on a diet or your dad's constantly on a diet, or in your case where your mother says, oh my God, Silken, you're going to get muscles.
Well,
when you were rowing in the basement, you were practicing
when I was
in the
lifting
basement rowing.
I tell this story in Unsinkable. My sister and I are in the basement. We're lifting weights. We're in the middle of a set. We've got a squat weights on our back, and my mom comes down and she says, "Oh my gosh, you're going to ruin your figure." Those were different times too.
Yeah, very much so.
That was in the 70s when we were still trying to figure out how we felt about women and muscles.
Very much so. And now we know how we feel. We want more.
We want
Maybe
more.
we're getting too obsessed the other way, though.
Yeah, we're looking at zero body fat. Women with less than 10% body fat. That's not healthy.
No, and of course there aren't too many flabby rowers.
There aren't too many flabby rowers, but rowers are generally a healthy set. We you consume an enormous number of calories just to keep out to keep up with the demands that the sport requires.
Sure.
But WorldWithoutDieting.ca is not just about like being the perfect weight. It's about changing the mindset so that we're not dieting regularly, right? And
I get that. And hence the second husband, your second husband, because John, first husband, lovely and all of that, didn't work out all that well, went to court, had all the messy. Second husband, Patch.
David Patchell Evans,
Tell me about him.
We met 6 years ago. We both had 2 kids, and it really was love at first sight. I mean, I think in my life I'd reached a place of being okay with being alone. I had 2 amazing kids. I loved my career. Lots of things were going right in my life. I'd done a lot of the healing work, and then out of nowhere, along comes Patch. And I knew right away that.
But he was into fitness.
Guy, and he was into fitness. Yes, Good Life Fitness. He owns Good Life Fitness, and we started living together 5 years ago.
Blending the family, and one of his daughters, Keely, is autistic, and she's taught you a lot.
She has. I mean, Keely's profoundly autistic. She doesn't have a lot of language. She operates really around 2 or 3. She also has a significant cognitive delay. So she needs 24-hour care. And, when you're with somebody who doesn't talk, who maybe, can say book or repeat words, you really have to slow down and pay attention.
Right.
And communicate on a different level. First of all, she's shown me that most communication is nonverbal. I feel, what you're thinking and feeling. It doesn't matter what you say. If you're feeling negative towards me, if you're feeling angry, I'm feeling that. And that's 80% of the information Keely's getting about the world is through feeling.
But given your background and some of what you went through with the erratic parent, and who's now living in Florida, but still a bit erratic. Still haven't made peace with mom completely.
Not really,
So given that, and then you're dealing with a child who's extremely challenged. And a man you love, which is the good part. But it's very difficult, I know, for all parents.
I think the physicality, the first few years when Keely would have a meltdown and she would attack. So, she'd pull my hair or she'd pull her own hair and throw herself to the floor. There's a chemistry with that when all of a sudden somebody's out of control in front of you and it's scary and you go to your automatic responses, right? Which is, I'm in a dark alley and somebody's attacking me. And that took some getting used to. And that hypervigilance that I felt growing up, in a way, it triggered that again.
I understand. And then a Buddha bracelet is one thing, but it doesn't get you through everything.
It doesn't.
Right?
It doesn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's why you need a counselor. I mean, that's for me, to be able, after, she has a meltdown and I'm influenced by it and I still have all the adrenaline going, to be able to pick up the phone and to call somebody and just have them talk me through, okay, this has just altered your chemistry.
Right.
You need to go out and you need to go for a run and get rid of some of that chemistry. I mean, it's common sense stuff.
Exactly, but you still have other children who are living with her, and they're your kids trying to meld with his kids, and one of his children is extremely challenged. You've got big, what do they call it, dharma? You come in with big dharma,
it's a big
challenges.
Yeah, it is, and yet I love it. I love our family environment. I love having 4 teenagers. People say to me, you have 4 teenagers between 14 and 18? I'm like, yeah, and it's great. But my ability to be in this life, to be fully present to Keely, to be running her educational program, it all comes from the journey I've taken to this point, right? If I hadn't gone through some of the things that I had, if I hadn't been an Olympic athlete and developed that perseverance and persistence and work ethic, this would have been overwhelming to me.
I'm sure. And when you talk to your father today about your mom and your family life, what's his response?
There's a lot of what I grew up with, which is, stuffing it down, saying it wasn't that bad, just get on with things. My dad lived through the war. He lived in an abusive household himself. That's how you dealt with things. So for him to see me say, you know, I think he's confused. Like, why do you need to talk about this stuff? Why?
Oh, I understand.
You know, even depression. He's like, well, you seem happy.
I know. I grew up in a doilied family. Trust me. And lots of alcoholics and things like that. My dad would come home, drive the car into the backyard, and my mother would say, well, the clutch must have slipped. Your dad must have missed the clutch. I said, pretty much.
Yeah.
Ask the neighbor, you know, but it's true. What was really going on inside the house, they're protecting you, they think, but they're really not.
Well, and you never,
at some deep level.
You never heal. I feel like there's the original stuff that happens, and that stuff was really hard, especially because it happened when I was a little girl. But then there's the denial and the stuffing down and the forcing your version of the world on me, and I think that's just as destructive. I think the path to healing is by opening Pandora's box, by processing it. I was so scared of going back. I was so scared of going back into my past and looking at this stuff. But when I actually did and processed it, I don't feel attached to it anymore. It no longer rules my life.
I get it. You have to unravel the past, really, to live in the present. What did Assisi say, St. Francis Assisi? You are that which you are seeking.
Yes.
And here we go, seeking, seeking, seeking.
Yeah, and I think you gain your...
And we both had dogs.
Oh, yeah.
You had Bimbo, $5 for Bimbo, the dog. And it's funny, when you're in a little turbulence in the family, there's somehow a pet helps you through.
Yes.
I had Snooper.
Oh, Snooper. Okay.
See?
Also an interesting name.
Yes, I know. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for being here with us today. For more information on the World Without Dieting campaign, visit worldwithoutdieting.ca. There will be many more frank, entertaining, and surprising guests to come here on Shaw TV.